Good morning, everyone, or good afternoon, or good evening, wherever you are in the world. Satsanga, the astrologer here, and I am back with the full moon report this time. So I will start with a little presentation. I will show the chart and a few other things that I want to explain. Generally speaking, this is a message of hope and some ideas for you to apply using the energy of this full moon. So let's dive into the presentation. I will start with the PowerPoint. And let me see if I'm recording. Yes, okay. Let's see. Okay, this full moon in Pisces happens on September 2nd, 2020. So here are the places where you can contact me. I am on Instagram, Tumblr, MeWe, Facebook, YouTube, and I also write a blog in Satsanga Astrology blogspot.com. So you have the contact places here. Okay, so let's go to the full moon chart. And this is the full moon chart. It's not location placed. I drew the chart with the Aries ascendant, which means that is the natural zodiac. So we have a chart that is one of the things is highly cardinal, meaning that we have two stellia, one in Aries, another in Capricorn, and then we have a grand cross. Across from Aries, we have several planets in Libra, and we have Venus across from Capricorn in Cancer. So there is a grand cross there. And then cardinal signs mean radical changes. So we have also a battle of yin and yang energies. Just as an example, the only real feminine energy is Venus here in Cancer, which are Venus is feminine, and Cancer, it is a feminine sign. But otherwise, we have either masculine planets in feminine signs, which cancel each other, you know. And here we have the sun in a feminine sign. Mercury is neutral. But if you see these masculine planets are in Capricorn, which is a feminine sign, they cancel each other. And we have here, Mars is the only masculine in a masculine sign. So we have this, Venus in feminine sign and Mars in a masculine sign are squaring each other. So we have this clash of masculine and feminine in the chart that are squaring, which means they are not in the same page. They are against each other. We don't have air quality in the chart at all. It is no air there. And we have So the mind is not involved in the creative process that we are facing, right? Because cardinal is changes to create something, especially with those squares, we are building something new. And we have a dominant earth element. We have a very much feminine, yin, creative, receptive energy. And we also have a grand trine in earth signs from the sun, from Virgo to Uranus in Taurus, and Pallas Athena here, and kind of Jupiter also, even though it's 7 degrees apart, we may count this. This grand trine in earth signs speaks about creativity, you know, but also a physical reality. So this chart is reflecting a physical reality that we are in, and we are made aware of this physical reality. From Virgo, we have the analysis, the planning and organization, you know, classifying, finding what is good, what is not good, discernment. From Taurus, we're talking resources, values, financials, finances. And from Capricorn, we're talking heavy transformation of the structural the infrastructure of society and of humanity in general, be it institutional, government, anything that makes part of the society's structures, right? From the base, from the foundation on to the upper part. So everything is shaken, dismantled, transmuted in a way. Thanks to this tiny, very microscopic element in our lives, present lives, that is called virus, and is making this earthquake in our reality, and is pushing us into a transmutation where everything will change. Everything in our physical reality is changing. Want it or not, believe it or not, everything from the foundation on is transmuting. So there is an important element of reality check here because of this grand trine in Earth. So as I said, we have the Stelia, Aries, Square, Capricorn, that is very important for this cardinal radical changes. And we'll see. I'll refer you to my video of Mars in Aries, which I published several weeks ago, and where I talk about Mars being in Aries for 6 months and what it is doing there. So I titled it Catalyst for Change. So you can look up in my channel and learn more about that. I'm not going to spend much time explaining in detail that. So I refer you to that video. So other things, if you follow the rulership tree, we come up with 4 main rulers in this chart. One of them is the moon in Pisces, the other one is Mercury in Virgo, Mars in Aries, and Saturn in Capricorn. Those are the fundamental rulers of this chart. So there is much psychic awareness, intuition. There is much analysis, mental investment, and there is also the fire and impulse of change. And Saturn is structuring the mind, right? So those are the elements that are the fundamental rulers of this chart. And we also have, I'm talking generalities on the chart, and we also have the so many retrograde planets. So this is really not a time of the actual changes, but this is the brewing time. This is the time when the fire is just brewing underneath. The transmutation is in the process within ourselves, in our minds, emotional, in the something is brewing inside. It's not yet manifested. It will be by end of the year and starting the new year, then the great push for revolution, actual revolution will start. So let's then go to the let me show you in the next slide. I have this Grand Cross, right? We have Cancer, we have Venus in Cancer, as I said, the feminine energy. We have Capricorn opposite, and we have Libra, Aries opposition. So we have here the Grand Cross, and I illustrated, let me move this here. I illustrated the archetypes, the symbols that we have here. So let's go to these feminine energies. We have Venus, the pure feminine yin energy, opposite by all this masculine elements, Saturn, Pluto, Jupiter, you know, the patriarchal system, the strongholds of our society structures so far. Historically, they have been the builders of society. And here we have the poor Venus opposing all this, you know. And then we have on the other side, we have Mars allied with these feminine goddesses that in fact, Lilith and Iris, they are, as you see, Iris here is really a masculine warrior woman. And Lilith is the dark side of the feminine, you know, the psychic unconsciousness of the feminine archetype. So we have Mars allied with those very masculine, feminine energies against here the very lushy Juno, Haumea in Libra. And I'm going to talk in detail about these energies and what they represent. But I wanted to show you graphically the symbolism of this Grand Cross, where the masculine and feminine energies are opposing each other, like canceling each other or fighting against each other, because this is very seeing those pictures, you have a graphic representation of what is really going on. So let's go back to, I'm gonna stop sharing this, and I will now share the actual chart in my time passages software. Let me share that now. So we will talk about the chart. So see here, it gives me the elements, right? It's Earth, 8 elements in Earth, very powerful reality, right? And we have water and enough emotional engagement, and we have fire, enough inspiration, but we don't have any mind intellectual element here. And the cardinal, you see the elements in cardinal signs. So let me start talking about the moon opposite the sun. We see here in Pisces, the moon, and the sun is also 10 degrees 12 in Virgo. So we having this opposition between the consciousness and unconsciousness, the psyche and the ego, or the self and the psyche. So we have this time for maturity, or the harvest of the energy that started, remember, in the new moon in Leo, a very creative new moon. I refer you also to watch my new moon in Leo video, where you can understand that better. But I said in that video that there is a delayed creativity because of the quincunx with Saturn. So that new moon set up the beginning energy for a long-term hard work process with patience, with submission to the restrictions, lack of resources sometimes, and some new restructuring, right? So we are submitting to a reality that is not yet, right? That it will come later. As I said, many planets are in retrograde mode. So the sun in Virgo focuses on separating the wheat from the chaff. What that means is that we are now, the light of the sun is shedding on the reality and analyzing the reality as we have it. Being acquainted with that is, right, opposing the moon, and if we want, opposing also the Neptunian delusion of or denial of reality, right? Many people, I don't know, but many people are just in complete denial of what is going on, saying that the virus doesn't exist, that this or that, we will go back to normal. Well, hello, here is the reality that we are living. Come back to earth, says the sun in Virgo. Come back down to earth, ground yourself, and make this process of detoxing, right? Virgo is a sign of cleaning, cleansing, detoxing, disinfecting, right? We are cleaning, washing our hands, disinfecting, and we are focused and concentrate on our health, healthcare, purifying the environment, right? But also Virgo is the sign illuminated by the sun that is creating this critical mind, this critical thinking. We are now finding the faults. We are now the discernment comes from really doing work of analyzing and dissecting reality in order to understand it better, right? And Virgo has this urge for perfection. So we are engaged in separating the truth from false, especially opposite this moon in Pisces. That we might have been lost in dreams, fantasy, imagination, creating diffuse, confused reality. Well, the sun is calling to go down to earth and face and also in trine with Pallas. I'm going to talk later about that. But then I'm going now to the moon in Pisces that is conjunct Ceres. Ceres is the nutrition principle, but this moon is a moon that is all encompassing. It also represents the masses, the masses of people. And it is very caring, right? Very compassionate, nurturing moon. It's open to emotionally respond by nurturing, caring, to charitable service, meeting the needs of self, of other people, family, and everyone in general. So the conjunction of moon and Ceres is the energy of needing to be needed, right? And emotionally engaged in nonprofit service, just for caring for others, nurturing others, just because we really feel it inside. So there is this opposition between finding the reality and caring for people, and we need to come to the middle, right? Oppositions are always a challenge to have a mirror that shows us, right, reflects the light of the sun fully on the moon and shows us what it is, right? What it is. So the negative traits of the moon in Pisces, as I said, is the deception, delusions, moodiness, also because of being influenced by so many energies around. It's a very vulnerable moon. Emotionally, we are very vulnerable at this time, vulnerable to confusion, fantasy, but also feeling loneliness and boundless, right? Feeling that our emotions are merging with the emotions of the masses, of the collective. So there is a rise of subconscious memories of emotional loss, but is also merging with the collective unconsciousness emotionally. So we have this also feeling of being victims of the reality, right? Opposite to the sun. So we probably have this tendency to project the insecurity that we have onto others, right? Or projecting the insecurity on the exterior of ourselves. So the circumstances are to blame, the virus is to blame, everything, the authority, right? The sun also represents the authorities, the father figure is to blame, etc. So this moon also in the negative side can makes us feel victims of everything and everyone else. And so, but the positive aspects of this moon are also the possibility to see clearly through our intuitive abilities or psychic abilities. We are more tuned in with the spiritual reality. So we may have this possibility to really tune in with the inner and the spiritual connection with the collective, right? So there is a favorable time for spiritual exploration, for example, through meditation, and also for charitable service and seeking higher rewards, right? Not material rewards, but serving others just for the sake of it, or for compassion, because of a high level of sensitivity, empathy, and also communion with everyone. So we might also tap into the inspiration, imagination, and creativity. Pisces is a very creative, higher level of creation, right? And it is also a sign of romantic and creative endeavors. So there is this, as I said, the masculine opposite, the feminine. It invites us to use those, combine those energies for creativity. And we will see as we go on analyzing this chart that there is a potential, a great potential for creativity and abundant creativity. So I explored in the Dane Rudier mandala the Sabian symbol for the 10, it's in fact is the 11th degree in Pisces. That's how the Dane Rudier's Sabian symbols should be considered, because he doesn't have 0. He starts with 1 and goes to 30, right? So this is the 11th degree, and it reads, men traveling a narrow path, seeking illumination. So this is the path of discipleship, the capacity to seek transcendent real view of reality, right? Someone can show you the path, but you have to walk it alone. So this moon then is opening up to opening us up to seeking real understanding of reality through enlightenment, illumination, right? Illumination, as he says. So the moon here, let me go to let me go to here, display single. Okay, here we have the moon. If you observe the lines, it has 2 green lines connecting the moon to here, Pallas Athena, right? And to Uranus. Uranus in Taurus and Pallas Athena in Capricorn. So see, there is a good combination, favorable opportunity for creativity, because the water Pisces combines harmoniously with the Capricorn side, the structures, right, and the resources, which is Taurus. So this combination is very, very creative and very deeply rooted in, I mean, water combined with earth gets the mud that we need to for fertility, for fecundity. So this is a very favorable combination of the moon with Pallas Athena and Uranus. So with Pallas Athena, Pallas in Capricorn sees the patterns in structures, right? So she is the master of using strategy in order to combine elements to build structures. And Uranus has this element of, and see, Uranus is combining also with the sun in a trine. So the blue lines are trines. And so there is a grand trine, as you see, between Uranus, Pallas Athena, and the sun. It is the grand trine in earth that I was talking about at the beginning. So Uranus is bringing emotionally unexpected events of economic nature. They could be related to finances, values, the stock market, and even the distribution of food and supplies, material stuff that we need to survive. That's Taurus, right? Taurus rules everything that sustains life. So there could be unexpected events affecting the resources and the access to resources. But as I was showing, it isn't favorable in sextile and trine to the sun. So it should be implementation or discovery or changes in the creativity that not only change us emotionally and our identity, but also changes the way we relate with the resources. So we are to choose to be different, right? Choose to be independent in the acquisition of resources and have a free attitude, you know, to that we allow to absorb the changes. So there's also this process of eccentric individuation, right? People will come up with very innovative ideas on how to acquire, develop, or produce resources to sustain life. So there are inventive solutions coming up. And so with Uranus and Taurus, we open to new circumstances, maybe travel, maybe meeting different people, listening to different people, right? To different kinds of authorities. It could be the sun authorities. It could be scientific authorities, healthcare authorities. In order to provide us with ideas on how to cope with this creation of new resources. But Uranus can also give us feelings of anxiety, restlessness, and can electrify this full moon, right? It could give this angst, you know, that things are changing, so we are not comfortable. Uranus doesn't make us comfortable. And we have this incendiary Mars that I will talk about later that is giving us so many fires, physical fires and the inside fire, right? Because of the soon retrograde. He is almost, Mars is almost at a halt, preparing for the retrograde motion. So it is very powerful, very intense, close to Earth, and very, very strong. So the rebellion, I will talk about later about Mars. So how is Uranus going to behave? Well, let's look at the ruler of Taurus, which is Venus. And Venus is, as I showed you in the images, in Cancer. So Venus is also ruled in Cancer, ruled by the moon, right? So Venus has this opposition to Saturn and Pluto here, especially to Saturn, which restricts her desires, is opposing, this stellium here is opposing Venus in Cancer, our emotional values. And what are they? Well, the emotional values that we are striving for, that Venus is striving for, are safety, family safety and security, the nurturance of our families, our core protection, right? Cancer is the sign of the crab that needs that external protection in order to survive. And it's also very, Cancer doesn't go straight ahead. It walks sideways, right? Like the crab, it walks sideways, is protective first. So these are the values that we are now protecting at the moment. So in Capricorn, we have this profound demolition and restructuring of the social paradigm, transforming our values, finances, social life, economy, resources, which are related to Venus, right? Venus represents all those things. So, and we have this opposition from Capricorn. We can say that everything in the paradigm, the status quo, the establishment is transmuting. So if you had any hope of going back to the previous lifestyle, you're wrong. We will never, ever go back. And those changes that are operating in Capricorn, Capricorn doesn't build things for just 1 day or 2 days. Capricorn rules the wall of China, the castles that were built in the 8th century. If you have ever visited Carcassonne in France, these massive rocky structures, the mountains that last forever. So those changes and this transformation that is going on in Capricorn will be lasting for many centuries. It's not something that will go away next year. So prepare then, and another thing, this stellium in the Jupiter Pluto Saturn conjunction, that even though it's not exact, but the stellium in those three planets is super rare. You won't find it for centuries to come. So this is a new cycle starting this year that will bring restructuring that will last forever, if you will. So expect to have very deep, very profound Pluto transmutation. We are coming from the caterpillar into a butterfly. We're coming from, is the Ave Phoenix. From the ashes, we're springing into a beautiful birth, right? It's not a negligible change. It's very profound change. And with it, you may feel the profound, it's very traumatic for human nature, right? It's very traumatic because there is this sense of loss, a sense of death, that we are dying to a system. Everything around us is dying. We are dying inside, and we are being rebirthed. So it's profound. Anyone who gets sick to the virus and recovers has this experience of tiredness for so long, tiredness and exhaustion, and it is a very profoundly affected, right? What else I wanted to say about, so because also the value changes, Uranus and Taurus, regarding nature, the Mother Earth, the environment, the ecology, you know, the harmony that should be in nature, resources, food supplies, and also the changes in personal values, relationship values. Everything is transforming from the ground, from the foundation up. So we are now with those environmental disasters that we have, and well, maybe hopefully we are spared from very heavy chemical, maybe atomic contamination. Hopefully we are spared from those very severe and I mean almost impossible to recover contaminations, pollutions, but the disasters that are now happening will really call our attention to the environment, that we are not separated from the environment where we live. We are part of it, and we have a responsibility to it. We are to come back to reverence for nature, because we depend on nature. We depend on what the earth gives us. Otherwise, we will not able to survive. And I know there are many people who denies this, and I respectfully say, you need to stop this delusion that you have. You need to recognize that you depend on resources. How are you going to survive if there is, for example, massive radioactive contamination? How are we going to survive if we don't have the necessary food? If everything is flooded or everything is burned, all right? California is on fire. They have the Uranus return, and it's really almost catastrophic. So as human beings that we have taken into ourselves to modify, to manage the environment, to do with it what we want it to be. And now we have the responsibility to recover it, to rehabilitate it, to clean it, to detox, right? We have the sun in Virgo, right? We're called to clean the environment. That's what Virgo talks about, and especially with Mercury in it. Mercury says, well, put your mind in your environment. Think about it. Think. Think about the environment. Think about how we are affecting the environment. We need to re-evaluate in our mind what we are doing. If we, for example, we keep using plastic, well, we need to change our behaviors in general. And how can we individually help? Well, with small things in our everyday behavior. We need to adopt new ways of life, a new lifestyle that sustains and maintains the environment for our own benefit, right? In order to survive. Uranus in Taurus is asking us to make changes, unexpected, sudden changes, innovative changes, in order to help us understand the survival necessity. So Uranus in Taurus, ruled by Venus, will bring powerful financial conflicts and problems. It will affect, is already affecting the stock market, financial institutions, the banking system, sending shock waves throughout the whole world. This is not one country concern. This is a concern for the whole world, for humanity in general. And if you don't believe me, next year you will see the results. So Venus opposite Saturn is reconstruction of finances and financial system. We may have limited access to money. It's already in some places, they don't accept the cash. So see what comes from it. There is also the frustration, Saturn, in social life because of the isolation, profound depression, and you know, the love is entering into a depressive mode. We have this difficulty relating to other people, right? Because we are not able to have this social contact, this embrace, this touch that Cancer asks, right? It also, the opposition between Venus and Saturn delays business, trade, work, the economy. See, now many countries are deciding to restrain this social activity. Will, in consequence, will decrease the economic activity, because people cannot go to a restaurant, for example, and so many other things, right? Many other business that will be affected. So everything related to money and how to make money will be limited because of Saturn opposition to Venus. So we are called to tighten the belt and not to buy expensive items or luxury items, things that we really don't need. So we are in a war economy, if we can call it some way. So there will be a scarcity or coming to the very bare minimum essentials, like food, clothing, the roof over your head. It will be time to go back to the essentials. And this also gives this opposition, Venus and Saturn, gives low confidence in relationships, of course, because of the limitations of social activity, you know. So now let's explore Mars. And you can see this is not so beautiful of an energy because as I described, Mars is this masculine aggression, assertion, and as I said, it's very powerful at the moment, very close to the Earth, and also very slow moving because it's almost at a halt. It will be turning retrograde at 28 degrees of Aries. So it is practically stationed. So it's very strong reactivity, impulsivity, and I described that in my Mars in Aries video that you can check. I'm going to put the link below in the description box, and also the link in this video. You can check it out to learn more about this. But now what I want to point to is to this opposition to Juno and Haumea. Okay, Juno is an asteroid, and Haumea is one of those new discovered planets. I'm going to leave this description open so you can read it. You can stop the video and read it. And then this is the description of the creation goddess of the islands of Hawaii. But I'm going to read also a description that I found online in Reddit. Doesn't have an author, so I cannot give proper credit except for the link that I put in the description or in the last slide of the presentation. So I'm gonna stop this. You probably have read it. It says Haumea is the Hawaiian goddess of fertility and childbirth. She gave birth to many children and to all the island chiefs. As a goddess, she is a great creation deity and the ancestor of all indigenous Hawaiians who are descendants of the ancient civilization of Mu. Haumea is a crone archetype and is the elder in a trinity of Hawaiian goddesses that includes Hina and Pele, or Hina and Pele. So there's a trinity of goddesses that were the creators, right? That was a culture of matriarchal origins. Haumea had the power to change herself or her form as her nature was constantly renewing. He will grew, for example, arms and legs, and she continually transformed into a young woman. So she was able to keep young forever, representing the cycles of women's lives. So each of her children emerged from a different part of her body, symbolizing a profoundly nourishing source of life. So Haumea, as I said, is a newly discovered planet farther than Pluto, and it's a dwarf planet. Haumea also acts as a divine midwife to human mothers and taught women the mysteries of childbirth. So she is the goddess of childbirth and fecundity. The author Martha Beckworth, whose collection resides in the Hawaiian Museum, suggests that the name Haumea actually comes from Hanomea, which means sacred birth. So she would be the goddess of the creation. Haumea is thought to inhabit the Makalei tree, the tree of life, on the island of Oahu, Oahu, whose mystical branches and deep roots yield infinite amounts of food. So like a cornucopia, the tree symbolically provides many staples to the Hawaiian people, such as coconut, bamboo, taro root, breadfruit, and sugarcane. When the goddess shakes a sacred branch of the miraculous Makalei tree over water, she attracts abundant fish. So this is an archetype opposing Mars, an archetype of life itself, right? The generation of life itself. In Libra, calling for balance, right? Mars, the impetus, the first impulse of life, opposing the goddess of giving birth to life, right? This needs a balance, right? And it's all, everything is squaring the Capricorn team, right? The Capricorn stallion. So as I interpret this, and also square Venus, you see is the Grand Cross from Capricorn to Cancer and from Libra to Mars. We have a Grand Cross in, first of all, cardinal signs, which imply change. And then these masculine, feminine energies, as I showed you in the images. So this is an archetype of very strong tension of creation. It is like we are coming to the verge of creating a new reality. With this Mars actions, right, combined with Lilith. Lilith here is the fear. I described that archetype in the Mars video, if you like to visit, but it's the fear of not being recognized as an individual. And Aries is also fighting for her right to exist, to be accepted, and to individuate. So this, as I said, this Grand Cross talks to us about creating a new reality. And we are all creators. Everybody who is on Earth right now is involved in this creation. So make sure that you participate and positively, that you create something new by changing your habits, by changing the way you live, adopting the creation of new resources, maybe recycling, right? Pluto is recycling. Pluto is destroying something in order to create new things. So use that energy in order to regenerate, recreate. So the, as I said, this side of the T-square involving Mars, Haumea and Juno, right, and Venus reflects, relates to conflicts in relationships, especially love relationships, but also social, meaning relationships of any kind, lack of kindness, even gruesome aggressiveness on the part of Mars, inconsideration, selfishness. It also indicates financial problems. So we are, and as you see, these Grand Cross are based on oppositions, right? by being faced or projecting this aggression, we are faced with the reality of what we are doing. So there's this lack of consideration and reverence for nature and for the bounty of the earth. This aggressive attitude against any kind of fairness, Libra, justice, logic, and measure in the use of Mother Earth. So we are shown by projection or reflection, because of the oppositions, right, in this Grand Cross, we are shown what we are doing and what other people are doing with us. So this energy reflects a strong will in the search for independence at all costs, without any sensitivity for others. So Mars, assertive actions are opposing any attempts of cooperation, right? Juno was mythologically the wife of Jupiter. She was very well balanced, right? She's very good in Libra because she represents this urge to have a balanced relationship, a give and take, in a cooperation. So partnerships, relationships, especially now that people are kind of confined at home, will endure power struggles, sometimes domination and even subjugation by sexuality, oftentimes because of Mars, which represents sexual energy as well, and the sexual urge. And Mars is now so strong and close to the Earth that his energy is incendiary. And you can see that in all the fires that are raging, and very difficult to contain. So please be careful and very conscious of your actions, and protect yourself from not only the real fires outside, but the inside fires, the impulse to fight, and the impulse to violence, right? So breathe deeply when you feel angry, and think, if you can, reflect before you act. So on the Capricorn side, the triple conjunction pushes for strong repressive measures that block and controls any intention of soothing the situation, soothing here, soothing here. So the Capricorn team is in fact blocking any attempts for alliances, equanimity, commitment, or fairness. So I refer you to go deeply into these very tense and conflictive energies in my Mars and Aries video. So again, Capricorn will show us the reconstruction, the deconstruction and reconstruction of the father figure as well. We have the South Node and Jupiter. I mentioned this in the new moon video, but ruled by Jupiter and Capricorn. So we are leaving behind beliefs that were rooted in this patriarchal and Capricornian stable structures for centuries, and we are now looking for data to build new belief systems, different belief systems based on data, based on information. And as I said, the father figure is being dissolved and restructured. And the walls and the, let's say, the historical structures that were built for centuries. I mentioned in my blog, I have a series on this Saturn-Pluto conjunction that happened in January. I have about 10 videos on that, and you can also read to explore. That Saturn-Pluto conjunction happened last time 500 years ago, when the European powers were coming to America, and the whole geopolitical structure of the world completely changed. There was a new order that is lasting up until now, right? But now that those structures that were built 500 years ago are being dismantled, and there is a new restructuring of them. So read more about it in my blog. I extensively wrote about it. And you can also explore history 500 years ago, and how the world completely changed the distribution of power also was changed, which is also happening right now, even though we don't see it yet, because this will take about 20 years in the process of redistributing empires falling, empires rising, and a redistribution of geopolitical power will happen in the next 20 years, as it happened 500 years ago after the Saturn-Pluto conjunction in Capricorn, right? It took about 20 or more years to see the distribution, even centuries, the distribution of powers. The European powers of that time parting the new continent. Well, this piece for you, this other piece for me, etc. And they were fighting against each other in order to dominate the new American continent. Well, a similar process may happen with this new Saturn-Pluto conjunction in Capricorn, and the process will last for several years. And so as I said, this full moon, against the background of this grand cross that we see, grand cardinal cross, it is a very powerful one. So don't underestimate the events that we're living through. I don't think this is just our personal lives that are being shaken. It's the whole world that is being shaken, as I explained. So brace yourself, be patient, and especially draw to this. Let me stop sharing this, and I will go back to the presentation. Let's see. Share this. Okay. So go back to this, and I hope you focus on the feminine aspects, the creativity, the life, giving life and creating a new world. And think what you can do associate with this Venus in Cancer, associate with this Juno and Haumea in Libra, right? Juno, the goddess that wanted fairness in relationships. Haumea, regenerating. Focus on the feminine energy, even though you have that feminine energy is opposed by the masculine powers, right? But focus on how we can combine the projective energy with the receptive energy, the water energy with the earth, and make the mud to build the new world, right? Every person is an actor in this creation. So feel that you have an authority, Sun and Virgo, that you have the mind applied together with your intuition, Moon and Pisces, and the spiritual aspect combined with the practical aspect of this full moon, the water with the earth, and find what is it that you can create in your personal life in order to bring about this new world. Not a utopian new world, but a world that will feed life, sustain life, maintain life, and bring us happiness, right? We need to combine the masculine and the feminine, the yin and the yang in a way that is balanced, right? Libra, the balance of the outgoing and inner qualities of human life. It's not just work, work, work and do things. It is, right now, it's a moment of being as well, not only doing, but we're becoming, from being human doings, we're becoming human beings. And with this, I'll leave you. This is the bibliography that I have used. And I also mentioned, I read from the Reddit, the article about Haumea. It doesn't have any author, so I cannot credit anybody. But I wish you the best and be inspired with this full moon, spiritually inspired to change your life, the world that you live in, your environment, the places that you can reach with your own power. So thank you so much for watching, and I wish you the best. Bye-bye.